So hi everyone, my name is Sharon Meyer. I am the integrative functional nutritionist at the Institute for Health and Healing, and the Institute for Health and Healing is part of Sutter's integrative program, or Sutter's integrative program rather. So today we're going to talk about the immune system, or the mighty immunity. So the immune system is an integrative network of organs, white blood cells, and proteins, and these protect the body from viruses and bacteria or any foreign substances. So the immune system works to neutralize and remove pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, or fungi, anything like that enters the body. So how it does it is recognizes them and then it neutralizes them, and it uses these specific neutralizing substances to get rid of these bacteria. But it also neutralizes harmful substances from the environment. And it fights against the body's own cells that have changed due to an illness like cancer. Of course, so when cancer cells are not exactly, so cancer cells will also have changed cells, and the immune system reacts to those as well. So our immune system protects us every day. And what's so amazing about this is we don't even notice it, But when it doesn't work, when it's not performing the way it's supposed to perform, then we feel some kind of illness. The immune system is compromised. So one of the things that the research has shown is that the underactivity of the immune system can result in severe infections and tumors. So pretty much those are when the immune system is not functioning well, what we call an immunodeficiency. But then on the other hand, we have overactive immunity, and this can result in allergic and autoimmune diseases. And I will say that in my practice, I get to see a lot of those autoimmune diseases, and those are things like Hashimoto's, celiac, Crohn's, UC, rheumatoid arthritis, and many, many, many more. So for our body's natural defenses to run smoothly, the immune system must be able to differentiate between self and non-self. So if it can't differentiate between that, then we start to see things going awry in our immunity. But the amazing thing about the immune system is that it is constantly adapting and learning so that the body can fight against any bacterial viruses that change over time. So when we're thinking about things like vaccines, this is how it works. We are teaching and informing the immune system of various things. It's the same as when they talk about herd immunity. It's the same kind of function. We're training the immune system. So there are two parts of the immune system. Our innate immune system, which works as a general defense against pathogens. And then we have our adaptive immune system, and this targets very specific pathogens that the body has already had some contact with. So these two immune systems, or these two functions, complement each other. And they complement each other in reaction to any pathogen or harmful substance. So they work together. The immune system is incredibly complicated, but so very functional. We have to also understand that the gut plays a huge role in immunity. We have 70 to 80% of the immune system at the gut wall. And then inflammation is part of immunity too. We want some inflammation. We want some pro-inflammatory things, because if we didn't, we would probably bleed to death. But the problem is when the switch doesn't get switched off, and we just have this constant running part of inflammation, and that gets to be systemic in the body. So that's an issue. And then it's about how do we deal with that, right? And so when we think about COVID, or SARS-CoV-2, this is deadly because of its ability to stimulate a part of the innate immune response, and that part is called the NLP3 inflammasome. And that can cause uncontrolled release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Cytokines are like inflammatory molecules, and that leads to what we now know is the cytokine storm, right? The cytokine storm, and with that is sometimes the severe, if not irreversible, damage to the respiratory epithelium, which really what it means is it promotes inflammation in the lungs, and then people have a problem with how they're breathing. So what we see now is that nutritious foods, and here's a quote, folks, nutritious food and diet research indicates that brightly colored vegetables and fruits boost immunity better than most supplements. And then they go on to say, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, aim for 10 servings per day, and include fermented vegetables or other probiotic-containing foods. So let's go back to those vegetables and fruits, and it goes back to what I'm always talking about, which is the phytochemicals. We need those phytochemicals. We get them from the plants, but we need to be eating so much more than we have in a day. More variety, more color, pretty much it means that we have different forms of phytochemicals and nutrients that function in different ways. But collectively, the phytonutrients, we know that they are antibacterial, they are antiviral, they are antibacterial, right? They also speak to our healthy genes. They stimulate them to function. So they open up our healthy genes. They are important for repairing our cells, and they are important for reducing inflammation, supporting immunity. They support our cardiovascular system. They're important for the brain's function. They're important for liver and for every other cell in the body. So we need those phytochemicals and those phytonutrients. And the more color you have, so eating the rainbow means is that you're going to get a variety of those nutrients that function very differently. So one of the foods that are not great to consume are going to be sugar, of course, because we know that sugar can suppress immunity, and it also promotes inflammation. The other foods are going to be the very pro-inflammatory, or the foods that we know that are extremely allergenic foods. And that's going to be gluten, dairy, corn, soy, but those are the kind of typical foods that we know that can be very problematic. So then the other foods that support immunity, we'll start off with curcumin. I had my weight loss group class this morning, and our guest speaker was Dr. Aparna Dandekar. She is one of our Ayurvedic medical doctors at the Institute, and she and I both agree that curcumin or turmeric should come from curry powder or from curry rather than coming from supplementation. We both feel very strongly with that because curcumin is a very difficult molecule for us to ingest. So it's really about the bioavailability of that. So having a bit of curry is not a bad idea. Something that has some turmeric in it or in some food would be a better way of getting it than in the supplement form. The next thing we know is that EGCG, so this is in green tea. There's been numerous studies that have done around the green tea aspect of this, but it's about the antioxidant, the combination of antioxidant and the phytochemical, which is the EGCG, which gets to be what we now know as immunomodulatory properties. So it balances the immune, supports it in the way that we want it to do. It's one of those things that we consider to be a cancer fighter, and we spell fighter as in PHYTER, short for phytonutrients, of course. So green tea. So if you can tolerate cups of green tea, 3 to 4 to 5 in a day would be great. Otherwise, you might have to resort to taking an EGCG green tea supplement. Quercetin. Quercetin is lovely, and really from a COVID point of view, this is one of those things that I think it's worthwhile supplementing with. But it's a flavonol, so it comes from the group of polyphenols, which is part of the phytochemical group. But it's found in many fruits and vegetables, It's found in grains, but it's particularly high in red onions and kale. So increase those things in your food, and you'll be getting a really nice burst of that quercetin. But it's very good for supporting immunity. The next nutrient we look at is zinc. It plays a significant role in boosting immunity. Plus, we need it for something like 400, 500 different functions in the body, and one being supporting immune system, right? It's really helpful for reducing the frequency of infections as well as the duration of it. Please mute your phone, thank you. And we find zinc in things like seafood, meat, fish, pumpkin, seeds, legumes. I see this as one of those nutrients when a nutrient deficiency when vegans and vegetarians, when we test them, they sometimes are a little deficient in the zinc. Vitamin C, of course. Vitamin C is important. It supports immunity. It's just one of those things that we all know a lot about. But besides getting it from oranges and citrus, it's really high. In fact, it's much higher in things like blackcurrant, guava, the red peppers, pineapple, mango, honeydew, and even parsley. So when we talk about things like parsley, make up things like those green sauces that we've spoken about before. Chimichurri, all of those things have a high amount of parsley in it. Might be a good idea to add to your foods this weekend. Maybe if you're doing a barbecue, that would be great. The next thing is about green up your meals. Increase those greens, folks. They're absolutely important for immune support. And then also color up your meals. So green it up and color it up. We want to have a lot of those vegetables and the fruits too, because they work pretty well. Bone broth is really good for immune support. It contains collagen and amino acids, and amino acids are proline, glutamine, and arginine. And these all help with leaky gut and reducing inflammation. So we want to support the digestive system because it's our first line of response. It's our first line of defense. So digestion plays a huge role in how our immune functions, considering that 70 to 80% is in the gut wall. Vitamin A is really important. So this is a straight vitamin A, retinol. It's been given a lot of bad rap and press over the years. But you do need to watch how much of that you have. And there are very many people that can't convert the beta-carotene, which is in the orange foods, into vitamin A. I'm one of those, kind of like a gene variant that we have. So a really good way of getting vitamin A is going to be from liver, animal liver. Chicken livers, beef liver, lamb liver, all of those work really well in giving you a good dose of that. Ginger, again, this is an Ayurvedic medicine, but it's been used actually in all the traditional Asian medicine things too. And it helps with, as an antimicrobial, it reduces inflammation, it helps with feeling nausea, any nausea, it really helps to reduce that. It's very good for the lymph system. So not a bad idea to add some ginger to your meals. Vitamin D, we know we definitely need this. It's known as the sunshine vitamin, and it's probably one of the most important and powerful nutrients for supporting the immune system. Numerous studies have shown that it helps reduce the risk of colds and flu. And we know that most people, when we test them or they get testing, will be very low in vitamin D3. And it's not even a vitamin anymore. We know that it's a pre-hormone. Selenium is a key nutrient for immune function. It's an antioxidant, and it helps boost the body's defenses against bacteria, viruses, and even cancer cells. And we get selenium can be obtained from a lot of things like seafood, but it's probably one of the best ways to get it is from just taking eating two Brazil nuts. And it's fascinating because Brazil nuts are not very popular in America, but they're delicious, I think. But just having two of those will give you your selenium needs for the day. Honey, of course, is really good. It's got a lot of phytochemicals in it too, but it should be raw, preferably raw. And today I learned through Ayurveda is that it should never be heated, because you destroy a lot of the function of the honey, which I think is really makes so much sense to me. So if you're going to put it in tea or anything like that, you want to put it in when the tea started to cool down, not when it's really, really hot. Garlic, of course, has got a lot of functions and phytochemicals in it, and it's particularly got allicin in it. Allicin is the very strong phytonutrient that supports immunity. Of course, the gut bacteria play a huge role in how the immune system functions, and we need to make sure that they are balanced. And the way we do that is with prebiotics. Prebiotics are the things that feed gut bacteria, and that is the fiber. And some of the fibers, things like inulin and other short-chain fatty acid molecules, substrates rather, really support the function of the gut bacteria. So we want to make sure that we feed them well too. Some of the things that we also need to do is we need to limit the alcohol consumption, because that will really suppress the immune system. So watching what you drink is important. And then the other things would be the lifestyle, stress reduction. Of course, chronic stress is going to negatively alter your immune system responses. Sleep, and then of course some exercise, moderate exercise. Don't be killing yourself, because that's also going to be a bit of a stressor. So those are the things that we need to be doing. And I know a lot of you are actually doing these things. Just up the greens and up the veg and see where that goes with the body.